Hi, Upchurch family. My name is Elizabeth Fletcher, and I'm here to welcome you and invite you to joining us on Sundays at 12 o'clock for Smart Money, Smart Kids at Upchurch. We have taken the Smart Money, Smart Kids curriculum created by Dave Ramsey and Rachel Cruz and created a customized experience for our young people at Upchurch. Every week, we hang out and we have an opening prayer. We introduce ourselves or have a question of the day. We do a daily affirmation that is provided by Upchurch. We share an opening question. We watch videos and have great discussions with the young people who attend. We play a game at the end of every session, and we make sure that we're giving suggestions on how to keep these principles in our lives moving forward. So what are those principles? Each week we discuss a different topic. And as you can see here, there are 6 bullets, but we break those down so that there are 12 sessions. We talk about work and what that means. What is responsibility, not only for your belongings, but also for your money? What are your financial responsibilities? How are you spending? What do you spend your money on? Giving our young people an opportunity to reflect on what they do with their opportunity to achieve financial peace. Are they being wise in their decision making around money? Are they saving and being patient? Are we giving and giving with a generosity of heart and spirit? Are we handling our debt? And what is debt? And are we dealing with it honestly? And then in our last 2 sessions, we'll talk about contentment and gratitude. So each week we focus on a different topic. We keep it fun and exciting and engaging. We have different videos to watch and just a really fun way to not only let our young people know about the best ways to manage their own money, but we also let them know how to do that so that they can achieve a financial peace and continue to attract wealth and health into their lives on a regular basis. We want prosperity for all. So I hope that you and your young people are able to join us. Check your emails for our weekly message, especially if you are registered with Upchurch as a parent. If not, please reach out and let us know, and we'll get you added to that list right away. So thank you so much. I hope to see you soon, and have a great rest of the day, Upchurch.
Hi, Upchurch family and friends. I'm Bob Henley III, and I'm here to invite you to a Christmas concert with the Henleys. That's going to be Saturday, December 19th, 2020 at 6 o'clock p.m. Please visit upchurch.org/Christmas 2020 for more details. We'll see you 6 o'clock p.m. Be there and enjoy a Henley holiday. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried, and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, a pure and holy, to ride, oh, and true. And with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. And with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. A sanctuary for you. Oh, I'll be a sanctuary, ooh, for you, for you. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Prepare me to be a sanctuary. Prepare us to be a sanctuary. That is our prayer this holiday season. So happy holidays, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have almost closed out the year. There are only 4 more Sundays to go in a year like nothing any of us have ever experienced. I'm Reverend Sherri James, and I want to welcome you through our virtual doors. I'm so glad that you're here. A couple of housekeeping things. If you would just take a moment and to please share this service with someone. You never know who's really suffering right now. This has been a year that squeezed all of us, but this may be a particularly hard time for those who have lost loved ones or who may be working through this holiday season alone. And maybe they can come be a part of this fellowship that we've got going here. And so take a moment right now, hit the share button, and just send it to one person. If you're watching this on Facebook, same thing. Hit like and share with someone that you know, and make sure that you click to subscribe on YouTube or like our page on Facebook so that you always get the notifications when we upload videos and or go live. I'm so excited that you're here. Let's take a moment to open this service, this season in prayer. Would you pray with me? Father, Mother God, we bless today's service. We bless all of the people that are gathered here, whether they're watching this on the day that it airs or they catch this service days, weeks, months, years later. What we ask for is that the transformational message of divine sonship reach them and touch them right where they are. And I thank you because I know that you have a special message, that with all of the human things that we have done, that you will weave it together into a divine whole to carry through the message that is uniquely suited for each person that views this. I bless all of the hands that have been involved in this, our musicians, our ministers, our teachers, everyone who's had a part in putting this service together. I thank you, God. I thank you. What we ask for is that this worship experience be transformational in us. We know that we are more than we appear to be between our head and our feet. That this is not the sum total of who we are. And so what we ask is that this worship experience support the transformation of us into the men and women of God that you've created us to be. Thank you, God. Thank you. I know you hear me when I pray. And so I relax right now. I trust this prayer to be answered. And I say thank you. Thank you. In the consciousness, in the nature, in the power of I am. This prayer is so. And so it is. Let me share with you the vision for understanding principles. Our vision is to love every person up to their true identity and to their highest potential for the greater good of all. And we are on a mission to express God's divine love through teaching spiritual principles, worship services, fellowship activities, and community outreach. And we chose the theme, Break Every Chain, as our theme for 2020. And the more I make it through this year like no other, the more I see that, gosh, was that ever the right theme? Because we have been called to break every chain that we thought that could bind us. We have been called to pivot in ways that we didn't imagine that we would have to pivot. We've been called to step up in ways that we never imagined that we would be called to step up. And we have done that. We're here. We're here. We're the survivors of 2020. So this is, I want to give you just a round of applause to say you did it. You broke through. And I'm so proud of you. Now we're in a new series that's closing out our year. It's a very short series and it's based around the themes of Advent. And so today I'm going to be talking to you about hope. And my title for my sermon is Hope Reloaded. Hope Reloaded. And so I can't wait to share this with you. Before we get started, let's take a moment and just settle ourselves. We'll have a very, very brief meditation and then we'll get into the service. For our quiet time today, let's just take a moment to relax. Let yourself settle into the seat. Let the seat that you're sitting in support you. And just relax. We are reawakening, re-energizing a spirit of hope in ourselves today. And we're asking that all of the things that interfere with our ability to hope at a deep level be removed. Let's take a moment now to go back to a time when hope was pure in us. Maybe it was when we were children, and maybe it was Christmas morning and we had made our lists and we knew what we wanted, we knew what we had asked for, and we had an inkling that it was there. We prepared for it, we asked for that bicycle, and we actually made room for it. Because we got excited. We knew that it was coming. We didn't know how that we knew. We just knew. We just hoped. And that hope was so special. Or maybe it was the birth of a little brother or a little sister. And we didn't know what they were going to be like. But it was all of the preparation that the family was making. Go back to that place of pure hope. Unscarred by the world of disappointment, untouched by what didn't go right, and feel that space again. Feel that space. Feel what that hope feels like. Energy rise in you. Thank you. Feel how special that is. That sense of anticipation of something wonderful. Promise of Scripture is that I will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. Today, friends, let our hope be restored. Thank you. as we bring this moment of quiet to a close, we give thanks that hope is restored, hope is reawakened, hope is now full. Thank you.
Hello, Up Church. I'm Reverend Sheree Thompson, and I am the assistant minister here at Up Church. It is my joy to be with you today. I have missed you. Thank you so much to everyone who has stepped up during my sabbatical and made sure that Up Church continues to be a place where those who are willing to grow spiritually can come, take root, and expand to their highest heights. It is a really special ministry that you've clicked into today. And I'm so grateful to be here just to let you know that you're in the right place at the right time with the right people. And I want you to know a little bit about who you are worshiping with. I know we're not all in the church house and we can't all see one another, but I want you to actually put on your spiritual eyes. And I want you to see the congregation, the people who are worshiping, who are celebrating the rising of the Lord within them, the Spirit of God in them, ever expanding. I want you to know who those people are. And so, family, what I want you to do is to write your spiritual name in the chat. And this is how you do it. You just put I am, and then you add on a quality of God. See, we're remembering that we're one with the one. And so I want you to try it right now. Add in I am, and then grab hold to a quality of God that you really want to have more experience of. And so I'm going to go first. And I'm going to name that I am love. Who are you? Just go ahead, and if you're not chatting along with us, that's okay. It's never a bad time to declare your spiritual name. So I want you to just maybe speak it out loud. Let's all speak our spiritual name out loud. We want to remind ourselves of who we are and just kind of crack the atmosphere of maybe something that's going on around us. And so I want you to keep those names coming. I want you to know that I see you and I appreciate you for who you really are. And so for those of us who are worshiping, if you're worshiping with us for the first time, if you just kind of clicked in here to see what was going on here at Up Church, I want to say welcome to you. You're really, you're in for, I know you've gotten a little bit of it already, but you're in for an amazing worship experience. Today, we're actually celebrating people who have said yes to God. After our service, we have a spiritual baptism for those who have said yes, they want to grow here spiritually at Up Church, and they have gone through their orientation and they are ready to be with the congregation and to have this sacred ceremony. And so we want to invite you to come on and join us and experience a spiritual baptism. And then I want you to know that right now you're going to hear something in this service, and it's going to be that nudge you need to commitment. Because there's nothing that changes in your life without a commitment to it. And so we want you to commit to your spiritual growth here at Up Church. All that you need to do is take one step, and that's just to let us know that you're interested. And we're going to help you. We're going to support you. We're going to guide you. We're going to give you all the information you need to make your I think yes, we're going to make it definite. We're going to make you have help you have some clarity around your decision. Just email us at upchurch@upchurch.org or dial our number, leave a voicemail. We'll be sure to get in contact with you right away, because we believe that it is urgent for you to say yes, God. We believe that it is right now your time to expand to new heights, and we're here to support you. We are the right community to support you as you grow. And so I'm so grateful. I'm just beaming today because it's great to be back in service with you. It's a powerful moment that we're having, and we're going to keep it going. So we've declared our spiritual name, and now we're going to have a word of inspiration. Brooklyn Smith, one of our wonderful young people, is going to give you the daily inspiration, and then I'll come back with you.
Good afternoon, Up Church. Today is Sunday, December 6th, 2020, and I will be reading your daily inspiration. Flow with life. Made in the image and likeness of the divine, we were created to live a joyous, happy, and carefree life with effortless ease. If our lives are not reflecting this flow, perhaps it is time for us to engage in meditative self-discovery. From a place of love, we need to first understand, appreciate, and honor what works for us naturally and move in that direction. If we choose to do otherwise, we find that we spend a lot of time and wasted energy accomplishing very little while feeling depleted. Next, we accept that spiritually, everything is as it should be. We do not try to make the situation as we would want them to be. The universe always works for our highest good. Lastly, we must take responsibility, hold ourselves accountable, and recognize that we have the power to choose how we will respond to every situation that appears in our space. In the natural order of creation, the grass grows, the birds fly, and flowers bloom. We too are created to live in the natural flow of life and prosper abundantly. God offers a resting place for me in Spirit's luxurious love. God's tracks take me to an oasis of peace, the quiet brook of bliss. Psalm 23, verse 2. Happy Sunday, Up Church. Bye.
Thank you so much for the daily inspiration, Brooklyn. It's now time for our affirmation of power. So Brooklyn gave us the word of power that we can all speak together, and it builds a sense of harmony. Now we're going to open up our mouths and speak a word of power to ourselves, for ourselves, and just kind of break up any negative energy that just may be circling around you, that just may be rolling around in your mind. This affirmation of power is centered on the life of God that you are. So I'll say it once and then we will affirm it together. All that God is, I am. God is life. I am life expressed. I am filled with vitality, energy, and health. My body is renewed. My mind is now transformed. My dreams are unfolding. I am alive and enlivened. All that God is, I am. I am alive. Woo! Let's speak that word together. All that God is, I am. God is life. I am life expressed. I am filled with vitality, energy, and health. My body is renewed. My mind is now transformed. My dreams are unfolding. I am alive and enlivened. All that God is, I am. I am alive. And so it is. Amen. That is your word of power for the month of December. I want you to commit it to memory. I want you to work with that word of power this month. It will only change your life. It will only raise your awareness of who you really are. And so I want to segue now into our the next part of our service. Really special and just, we're at Christmas time. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I love Christmas. And we have a special segment this month that we're spotlighting called This Christmas. And so I'm going to turn it over and we're going to have our first experience of this Christmas.
Wishing you hope and joy. I'm gonna stay home with my family this Christmas. So that's what I'm going to do. Stay home with my family, keep everyone safe, make good food, get to know them better, I guess, like that song. And of course, I'm not gonna stop creating music, writing, and I'm gonna use this time to recharge myself to get ready for 2021, releasing my new album, everything. So, and the most important thing is though that I'm here filming this video and you are there watching it, and we overcame. We're still here, living strong. So I hope you have very, very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And okay, let's see what Erin wants to say about this Christmas.
Good afternoon, Up Church. This Christmas, I intend to stay at home with my parents. We'll probably cook, watch movies, and sit by the fire. I can't wait to decorate a Christmas tree and make the home more festive with Christmas decorations. We're gonna stay at home and stay safe this holiday as we look forward to 2021. What are your plans this Christmas? What are you wishing for? Let us know. Send us a video so that we can share the amazing and fun things that you plan to do with our community.
Wishing you a Merry Christmas. Yeah. Heart bearer, the newborn King. Yeah. Peace on earth and mercy mild. God and sinners reconciled. Above my head, angels sing. Above my head, joy bells ring. Above my head, worship is fine. Above my head, ain't up but right. It's like music to my and I can't control my tears. It's the sweetest sound I ever heard. Angels singing, joy to the world, joy to the world. Hark the herald, the angels sing. Above my head, praise going on. Above my head, a new kind of song. Above my head, a sound so rare. Above my head, earth can't compare. It's like music to my ears, and I can't control my tears. It's the sweetest sound I ever heard. Angels singing, joy to the world, joy to the world. Peace on earth, peace on earth, mercy mild, God and silence, reconcile. I can hear the angels. I can hear the angels sing. Can you hear the angels sing? I can hear the angels. It was a quiet night and a holy night. I can hear the angels sing. Glory, glory to the newborn King. The angels, but it's the sweetest sound I ever heard. I can hear the angels sing. Peace on earth, mercy mild. I can hear the angels.
I'm smiling so big because that is an Akasha Royal original. You know, it's wonderful, and you know that you are moving in the right direction. You're moving in the flow of God when you look at what is growing around you. And I tell you, new music is coming forward. People are stepping into their gifts. New podcasts are being produced. New books are being produced. We are on fertile ground. And so to those of you that you may be in the very, very beginning stages of getting your book out there, or setting that publishing company going, or getting that business off of the ground, I want you to know that you are in a community of people that are growing. And I want you to see with the eyes that I see, that what to you may look like, well, it's not like so-and-so's publishing company, or it's not like that product over there, or it doesn't have that level of recognition. And I want you to see that it is literally just shoots above the ground. But we are keeping the faith moving forward and creating, and it is not a matter of if, but when we move into that space where we hit that momentum. So this just keep going. Thank you, music team. Thank you so much. Thank you, Akasha, for sharing your talent with us. We love and appreciate all that you have to give, and so happy to see you expressing this way. All right, our new series, Hope. The new series is called Reloaded, but my sermon is Hope Reloaded. And I want to open with a poem called If Every Day Were Christmas. If every day were Christmas, how different life would be. If not one day, but all the year were ruled by charity. Had we faith in miracles, a child has Christmas morn. Each day would be love's manger, and Christ would be reborn in us again to change and heal our outworn wars and ways. Had we a child's or a shepherd's gift for wonderment and praise. Yet every day is Christmas when we have learned to live by love's law, learned not how to get, but only how to give. And like a child can pray, but have the grown-up wisdom to give ourselves away. Don't you love that? That was written by James Dillett Freeman. He was a Unity minister, and he was known as what was called the Unity Poet Laureate. And he wrote the prayer protection, which we recite, of course, at the end of every service. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me, that prayer. And he also wrote a poem called I Am There. And both of those poems, just a little trivia for you, were taken to the moon by Apollo astronauts. All right, we are in a new series for the holidays. We're going to be teaching on the themes of Advent. Now, we are a little off schedule as far as the traditional celebration for Advent is concerned. The season covers the 4 Sundays that are leading up to Christmas. So for this year, that would be November 29th up to December 24th. But no matter, we can still talk about all the themes, even though we'll be off the quote unquote schedule in the traditional sense. We don't talk about Advent a lot in New Thought, but for the traditional Christian, Advent is very important because it looks ahead to the commemoration of the birth of Jesus. And so over the next few weeks, Reverend Sheree and I are going to be challenging you to think about the themes of Advent as a way of getting yourself recharged for the new year. We're calling this series Reloaded. Now, I see this journey that we are on as kind of a spiritual growth project, and it holds this possibility for new insight. So we are challenging you to get reloaded on hope, reloaded on faith, reloaded on joy, and reloaded on peace. And so this is what everything is about. Now, the word Advent comes from a Latin word adventus, which means a coming, approach, arrival. It is a coming into view of something, usually referring to the coming of Christ, traditionally, into the Mass of Christ or Christmas. In other words, it's getting prepared for a personal experience or visitation of the Christ. In a metaphysical sense, it can, and I think should mean to all of us, an expectation of and a preparation for the coming into our own consciousness of our own divine potential or our own Christ potential. The word Advent also has given birth to another interesting word, which is adventure, with the connotation of risk or dare. If this season is to mean anything more than the annual holiday charade, which becomes this pressure-packed, conformity-ridden Christmas celebration, we have to take the risk of personal commitment to the discovery of a divine level within our own being. It's the idea that we're asking you to think about when we challenge you to get reloaded. Now, man's achievements on earth, we tend to get a little haughty about. We occasionally pat ourselves on the back as a civilization for all of the great things that we've done. I mean, we've sailed the seas, we've tunneled deep into the earth, we've soared at speeds faster than sound, we've split the atom, we've journeyed to the moon. Who knows what else we'll be able to do. I mean, even today we have phone devices that are more powerful than the computer that was used to send a man to the moon. And yet the greatest adventure of all, which is the exploration into the depths of our inner self, has lagged far behind these other outer pursuits. And I believe that it is this lack of self-exploration and personal development that is at the root of all of the problems that we see in society. That this consistently persistent refusal to point the spotlight of our attention to the inner self, it is the root cause of the mess that we see today. When we talk about sounding the depths of who we are and doing that excavation, we're not dealing with like some little flight of fancy. We're not, doing this kind of work has often been thought of as woo-woo. It's the stuff you do at the end of life or on the fringe, but not what you do. It's certainly not more important than treated as not more important than the things that we pursue outwardly. But I would submit to you that it is the most important work that you will ever do. And in fact, it is this inner work that makes our outer lived experience possible. In reality, we never get any further in life than the quality of our inner work allows. This is a very real process where we are harnessing the real energies of the universe as they come into focus through us, through you, as you. And at the starting point of all of this is this indisputable fact that you are. You are a creative expression of the infinite. You are you. You live, you exist, you throb. You are unique and different and wonderful. You are full of wonder, full of wonder. It is this very wonder that is what Advent is all about. It is what Christmas is all about. This is what the prophet said, and you shall call his name Wonderful, full of wonder. So we spend a lot of time at Up Church addressing the divine potential within ourselves, right? And there may be those among us or who observe us who feel like, well, you're not really paying attention enough to what's going on in the world. They feel pulled by the problems of the world, and they wonder if a spiritual community such as ours should really focus our efforts more in that direction. When you think about the things that are happening in our world right now, economic pressures, ongoing political pressures, ongoing the pandemic, the political strife, all of that. And, not to mention man's inhumanity to man. Hello. You got to ask the question, like, what's the purpose of creation? What's the purpose? Like, is it either or? Like, is the purpose of creation that we build tall buildings and go to the moon? That we create phones today that are more powerful than the computer that sent a man to the moon? But that isn't the purpose of creation. It's not the purpose. These pursuits, no matter how they are focused, whatever they are really an extension of the imagination and the creativity of humankind while we are giving expression to that which lies within us. But as the poet says, why build cities glorious if man unbuilded goes? The real goal of creation is you. The real goal of creation is you. A former University of Chicago professor talked about it this way in a book several years ago. He wrote a book called The Dawn of Consciousness, and he had studied all the cultures of the world, and this was his final summation of everything, that the final creative goal is the full becoming of the person. The final creative goal is the full becoming of the person. What this means is that the full achievement of freedom and mastery of the individual, the full achievement of freedom and mastery of you. That's the real goal. Every person is made for mastery. Every person is made for mastery. You were made for mastery. You were made for mastery. When the prodigal son came to the end of the rope, the scripture says he came to himself. It says that he realized that he had been seeing in a mirror darkly, that he'd been getting a blurred image. He discovered that he was not intended to be a slave, to be bound, to be hungry, to be limited, and that if he could just adjust the focus of his life, he could achieve what he had always been in reality. He could let the kingdom come in earth as it is in heaven. He could express that true, radiant Son of God self, which had always been his from the very beginning. Freedom is at the core of your being. There is an imprisoned splendor in you that even if you act like it's not, life will bring you to yourself so that you may let it out. And so embarking upon the adventure to get reloaded, the first step of Advent is hope. The first step of Advent is hope. You got to hope that there could be something better. You got to hope that there could be something more than what you've expressed thus far. And hope is directly tied to focus. We hope for the things we give our attention to. We hope for the things we give our attention to. So it is imperative that we get ourselves in focus. And this word focus is very interesting. In the Latin, the word focus means hearth, like a fireplace. And it was used metaphorically to refer to the home or the family. It shows up in our English language about the 1600s, and it referred to this point of convergence or this center of activity or energy. To get yourself into focus means getting a clear picture of your inner self. If I look at the outer world, I do so only to get a better picture of my inner self. I'm not looking at the outer world for information except to tell me what. Sometimes I don't know what it is that I believe, but my life is an unfailing witness to what I do believe. And so sometimes I need to look at my results to say, oh, okay, well, you believe that there's not enough, right? But I'm not looking to the outer world to tell me that there's not enough. I'm looking to the outer world to tell me that I believe that there's not enough. And so when I have my attention locked on my inner self, what happens is that I bring together all of the forces of spirit into me, into a point of combustion, so that I become a living flame. Jesus said it this way: let your light shine. Let your light shine. As long as your eyes are on the world, looking to the world for your information, your inspiration, your light is not shining. You've got to flip the camera. You know, when I shoot this these sermons, I put my camera on, and the default is that it looks out, right, at whatever I'm going to point the camera at. But I've got to hit the flip button to flip it and say, no, I'm going to pay attention to this. And that's what we've got to do with our eyes. We've got to stop looking out, and we've got to flip them and look in. See, when you bring all of the divine possibilities within you into full focus, there is a combustion in your experience. You know that word combustion? We don't use that word a lot anymore. You know, we got these modern electric cars, but you know combustion. You ever seen a car on fire on the freeway? Because some combustion has happened, right? And you become enthusiastic about life. You bring everything to bear. Whenever you see true enthusiasm, you see a person who is in focus. Whenever you see true enthusiasm, you see a person who's in focus. And this person may not even be aware of it, but there is this flaming up in consciousness, this in his experience and in his creative activities, that something which is the divine source flowing through him has awakened inside of him. And there is this explosion of energy. Charles Fillmore said something that I think is important to this topic. He said, you can never discern more than a segment of the circle in which you move. Let's sit with that. You can never see more than a segment of the circle in which you move. Your powers and capacities are infinite. They're infinite. The farther you go into mind, the wider its horizon, until you are forced to acknowledge that you sitting right where you are not the personal, limited thing you appear to be, but in reality, you are an infinite idea in the mind of God. As long as the camera is looking out, you miss that. You only look limited because of the direction that you got the camera pointed. He goes on to say that idea contains within itself inexhaustible. You know that word, inexhaustible? You know what it is to be exhausted? Okay, so inexhaustible. The idea contain within you inexhaustible possibilities. And these possibilities are projected into your consciousness as an image reflected in a mirror. Thus, you are the most important factor in creation. You are the will of God individualized. Now, we say a lot that man is created, or humankind is created in the image likeness of God. But think about that. That means that there is this constant process. It's the root of the reality within us. The divine imprint upon us is changeless and eternal. And we can say that we need to understand this, that we are never less than the projection of that infinite idea, possessed of infinite life, love, and wisdom. We are never less than that. We are never less than the infinite. We may see ourselves as less than that. We may accept ourselves in limited ways. We may act out of all sorts of limitations in our lives. But we can never be less than the projection of that infinite idea into expression. It is through our limited thinking then that we get out of focus. It is through our limited thinking that we train ourselves to hope for very little. You ever seen somebody that had no hope or hoped for very little? And it's not a matter of what is in them that could be. It's a matter of where the focus is trained. I come from the movie business. Whenever we screened a film, we would always do a test run before we played the film for an audience and before we put the film out into the theaters. And so if we put the film up and the picture was blurred, well, we didn't blame the screen, right? And we didn't immediately assume that the film was faulty. Instead, we know that there was something that was going on with the focus. So we adjust the focus on the projector until the picture on the screen clears up. Sometimes what happens is that you have figured out how to stop pointing the camera outward, but you figured out to point the camera inward, but you haven't yet figured out how to adjust the focus. And so you've been doing this work. Maybe you've been 20, 30 years into New Thought, working with this idea that I am divine. And you haven't yet made that demonstration that Catherine Ponder and Johnny Coleman and Della Reese and Mary Tumpkin and all the Barbara King, that all the greats talk about, right? Maybe you haven't hit that stride. It's not the screen and it's not the film. It might be the focus. My favorite author, Ralph Waldo Emerson, says, every man is a divinity in disguise, a god playing the fool. This says so much about all of us because we tend to assume that the appearances of life, the things that we see out here and experience, or in the flesh or in the emotions that we feel, we tend to think that this stuff, all of this, expresses who we are. And then we tend to be trapped in the feeling that this is all there is to life for us. And so we say things like, well, I'm just that way. This is how I do things, right? What you gonna do about it? And we go on then misrepresenting ourselves, not really realizing that it is really just a limited concept of who we are. Got the camera trained on us, but the focus is off. And so it's not the true self that is at fault in our experience. And so because of this limited view of self, we live totally out here at the circumference of life. We miss the deep things because we assume that the faults, the failings, the difficulties, the sicknesses, the wars, the rumors of wars of our experience are what we are. And this is where we live, and this is the center of our consciousness. And so it's the focus of our attention, and it becomes the object of our hope. Hope is a natural thing. Whatever you give your attention to, you will begin to develop hope for. And so it may sound counterintuitive, but some of us are hoping for calamity because that's all we're paying attention to. Some of us are hoping for destruction because that's all we're paying attention to. When you think about your family, do you think about the faults of your family? Do you think about all the things that are going wrong with your family and wrong with your your family members? Let's go ahead and be specific. You think you think that if all you think about and talk about are the things that are going wrong with your family, your hope is for more stuff to go wrong with your family. Because hope is a natural thing. You don't have to make hope happen. All you got to do is just train the focus. Just train the camera. Whatever you focus it on, you're going to begin to hope for. And so when we build our hope on temporal things of the world, we tend then to just simply reflect and respond to everything that happens around us. Because our attention is trained outwardly instead of inwardly, we become empty shells in our own consciousness. And more importantly, we don't bring it into a combustion in our experience. And so in spiritual circles, we often speak of being set on fire for God as if it is something that is happening to us, as opposed to something that we are flipping on from the inside of us. Where's your attention? Whatever has your attention has your hope. And so in the outwardly focused consciousness, every person who happens along has the power to rile us, to disturb us. We're not really aware of the flame within us because we're looking outside for the flame, hoping to find it in somebody else. Every vagrant thought that crosses our minds often adds worry and contention and confusion. We don't know that we have the power within to say no to negative thoughts. We don't know. Or we act like we don't know. Let me say that. We act like we don't know, right? It's like the people that are addicted to social media and they complain about all the stuff that's on social media. And then they stay on social media as if they are forced and they forgot that moment when they signed up for that social media account. And that there is actually a button that says delete. All the evil, the lack, the sickness, the inharmony that besets humankind today. It has its roots in the frustration and the distortion of the divine flow. And you can trace the frustration back to what you're focused on. Whenever you get angry or tense or fearful or upset or negative in any way, what's happening is that you have taken the camera and you have flipped it outward as opposed to inward. That's all that's happened. When you get your thoughts centered on God, when you get centered on the awareness of who you are, who you were created to be, you anchor yourself. You become more confident. You begin to believe in your capabilities. The only reason that you doubt your capabilities is because you keep putting the camera out on somebody else and something else. But once you turn that focus on yourself, you have such great hope in your possibilities and in what's possible for you. And so this process of being reloaded is a commitment. It's a commitment to the discovery and the releasement of this inner fire inside of you, this divine self. And it begins right where you are right now, not somewhere else. You don't have to get to church. Obviously, we're doing this in a virtual format. Right where you are right now, wherever you're sitting, in your car, in your home, on your job, wherever it is that you are, right where you are, this process, you just make the commitment. I commit to look at me until I see the God in me. From the place where you now sit, you can so attune yourself to the inner self, the God self, that you can then go anywhere in the world that you choose and accomplish anything in the world that you choose. You can begin right where you are, no matter what the past has held, no matter what you see around you in terms of difficulties. You can begin where you are and go and do and be anything that you can desire to do and be. If you could just keep the camera pointed in the right direction. If you can keep the camera pointed in the right direction, your hope can be reloaded. God said to Abraham on that mountain, look from the place where you are. Look north and south and east and west, and all that you see, I will give to you. The promise of God is eternal. So the promise to Abraham doesn't stop with Abraham. It continues with you. Look from the place where you are now. Look north, look south, look east, and look west. All the land that you see, whatever it is that you can imagine for you, God will give it to you. And the thing is that with some of us, there are reservations because we look back with regret on the terrible toll of health and mentality through the years. We may feel a bit of shame over what we've done or what we haven't done. We may feel regrets that we're not farther along in life. I've been in this truth for 20 years. How come I'm still struggling with this? Let me give you a perspective that may help. What happened, happened. And it couldn't have happened any other way because it didn't. What happened, happened. And it couldn't have happened any other way because it didn't. Once we find peace and harmony with things the way that they are, we are free from the past. The freedom that you're seeking, that you think is going to come when you have enough money in your account. The freedom that you think is going to come when you have the security of whatever you think is going to give you the security is really found in making peace with what happened. What happened, happened. And it couldn't have happened any differently because it didn't. Very often our past hurts inform our future fears. And so our hope for a greater future is compromised because we're anchored emotionally to what happened. And we have to come to an understanding that what happened, happened. Couldn't have happened any differently because it didn't. The past can't be changed. But you know what can be changed? That story you're telling about it. And so we have to have the bold audacity to look at the narratives that we have around what happened. And when we do that, we can, in a sense, change our history by changing our story about what happened. In other words, by adjusting the focus, all that is back there, no matter how difficult, no matter how painful, no matter how seeming limited, no matter how unjust, can come into a new focus, which becomes a part of a flowing picture of your abundant life. Sometimes I will hear New Thought students say, oh, I wish I had gotten this truth 30 years ago. You ever said that? Built into that statement is the belief that it could have helped then, but now it's too late. You see, every experience of the past, no matter how tragic or devoid of meaning, has the potential of blessing. The problem is not in the experience. It is not in the experience. The problem is in the way that we continue to focus on the experience. This is why the prophet Joel says, I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten. The word restored comes from the Hebrew word shalom, which means to be or cause to be completed, to heal, to make whole. There is always that within you and within me, which can see any and every experience, no matter how challenging, in the context of wholeness. To see the fullness of that experience beyond the temporary changing appearance. There is that within me and within you that allows us to uncouple the experience from our feeling about the experience. I don't have to feel about it the way I feel about it. I may not be able to change my history, but I can change the story that I tell about my history. I can change the way that I talk about it. I can change the words that I assign to it. The locust that Joel refers to is the disruptiveness of negative thinking. All of this can be restored, can be made whole. The negatives simply cloud the air. They muddy the waters. They distort the focus. The negatives destroy our hope. When you have the lens trained on you, but you are still hoping for very little, it is not that there is something wrong with you. You've got the locusts in the way. And they are messing up your ability to see a clear picture of yourself. So many times we can't reload our sense of hope because of the locusts of past experiences. It's not the loss or the challenge or the failure or the bad choice that you made or whatever hurts that take the toll in your life. It never has been that. It has always ever been your thought about the thing. Your regrets, your fears, your feelings of shame. To restore the years, it doesn't mean that you can have them back. You can't go back and be 10. You can't go back and be 20 or 30, or you can't go back and undo. But what you can do right now to take a step in the right direction, to make the rest of your life the best of your life, is to begin to rewrite the narrative you give about the thing. What if you took the thing that you right now call the worst thing that ever happened to you, and you began to say that it's the best thing that ever happened to me? What if you stopped seeing it as something that happened to you and begin to see it as something that happened for you? What if you treated every experience in your life as if it was all part of the experience of you becoming who you are today? This is how you get your hope reloaded. The need is to see things rightly. Because as you look at the world, to see it rightly is to see it as a river of good flowing like a fountain of living fire. Our ability to have our hope reloaded depends entirely on our ability to see things rightly. The point is, you got to see things with the right focus. You got the camera on you. Now shift the lens so that you can see it rightly. Whenever we see limitations, anywhere out there in us, that is our cue that it is time to retrain the focus. When we get ourselves into the focus, get ourselves into this awareness of this flaming process of spirit within, things will change. Not so much that they're all going to topple over and reshape themselves out there, but they're going to change as far as we are concerned. And that's what your life is anyway. Your life is not just the unthinking response or reaction to things that happen out there. Your life is what you are and what you do with the things out there. And it has everything to do with how you see them. To get yourself in focus is to still your mind like a quiet room, like a quiet pool. When the waters are troubled, you can only see the disturbance. But when the water is still, it acts like a mirror. If the mind is troubled by past experiences, what do you think you're going to see when you look at yourself? And so you're going to have to come to the place and say, look, whatever happened, happened. It couldn't have happened any differently because it didn't. And this is not condoning the past. This is not saying that what happened to you was what should have happened to you. What it's saying is that I can't undo what is done. But what I can do is tell a story that sets me up for success. And so I challenge you this week, as part of reloading your hope, to get yourself a journal or just some paper, or put it in a notepad on your phone or your computer, and begin to rewrite the narratives of the things that happened to you. Everything that you labeled as the worst thing that happened to you, I want you to write a paragraph on why it's the best thing that happened to you. Everything that you feel like was done to you, they did this to me, they did that to me, I want you to flip it, and I want you to say, this happened for me. Here's what this gave me because I went through this at that age. We are reawakening hope because you've got what has never been expressed living inside of you. And the only way out is you're going to have to wake up a greater sense of hope. You are going to have to see greater possibilities, but you can't do that while the locusts are eating with those negative thoughts about the past. The promise is that you will be restored. You can have that. Will it be easy? No. But I know you can do it because I'm doing it. And so I bless you to go forward, to be God in action, to set this world on fire with who you really are. God bless you.
Climbed up to the highest mountain, looked all around, couldn't find nobody. Went down into the deepest valley, looked all around down there, couldn't find nobody. Went across the deep blue sea, couldn't find one to compare to your grace, your love, your mercy. Nobody greater than you. Searched all over, couldn't find nobody. I looked high and low, still couldn't find nobody. Nobody great, nobody greater, no, nobody greater than you. Said I searched all over, couldn't find nobody. I looked high and low, still couldn't find nobody. Nobody great, nobody greater, nobody greater than you. Nobody can heal like you can. Oh, most holy one, you are the great I am. Awesome in all your ways and mighty is your hand. You are he who carried out redemption's plan. You are he who carried out redemption's plan. I searched all over, couldn't find nobody. I looked high and low, still couldn't find nobody. Nobody great, nobody greater than you. Said I searched all over, couldn't find nobody. I looked high and low, still couldn't find nobody. Nobody great, no, nobody greater than you. Come on, nobody great. Nobody greater, nobody greater, no, nobody greater than you. Oh, I looked all over, couldn't find nobody. Looked all over, couldn't find nobody like you. Said I looked, said I looked, said I looked. All over, couldn't find nobody like you. Like you, like you. I searched all over, couldn't find nobody. Searched all over, couldn't find nobody like you. Did I search all? Did I search now? Did I search now? Search, couldn't find nobody. Searched all over, couldn't find nobody like you. Nobody like you.
All right, family, now is the time to set the law of giving and receiving into action for yourself. For you to support Understanding Principles. You can text the word UPCHURCH to 73256 to complete your gift. You can use Cash App. Our Cash App ID is $UpChurchLA. You can also go to our website, upchurch.org. Choose the button Give Online. And finally, the mail still works. You can mail your gift to Understanding Principles, 600 West Queen Street, Inglewood, California, 90301.
I'm in the flow.
bless our offerings. Read along with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love and I trust God. All right, let's add a declaration with that. I am in the flow. I give generously and I receive lavishly. My Father, Mother, God supplies all my needs. I am divinely supplied. All right, family. Thank you so much for your support. Let's have some announcements and then I'll be back to close this out.
Hi, Up Church family and friends. I'm Bob Henley III, and I'm here to invite you to a Christmas concert with the Henleys. That's going to be Saturday, December 19th, 2020 at 6 o'clock p.m. Please visit upchurch.org/Christmas 2020 for more details. We'll see you 6 o'clock p.m. Be there and enjoy a Henley holiday. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Has this not been a great Sunday? Oh, I feel so full. It's going to be an incredible holiday Christmas season. And I can't wait. And it's not even about the presents. It is about the time that we get to spend together celebrating. You know, it's very possible that with Christmas looking the way that it does this year, that we actually really experience the true meaning of Christmas. You know, normally we would be out places, we'd be buying gifts and doing other things, but all we have right now is the time to be home, be still, and reflect on the Christ presence within. It's going to be amazing. I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of this Sunday. I need to say thank you to some people. I've made a nice little list here so I don't forget anybody. I need to say thank you to Liz for championing our Smart Money, Smart Kids class. Really excited about that. I want to say thank you to our worship team. Thank you so much. You guys are so incredible. Thank you so much to Reverend Sheree. Welcome back, Reverend Sheree. You have been missed. Oh my God. Welcome, welcome back. Thank you so much, Brooklyn, for giving us our daily inspiration. Thank you to Noriko and to Aaron for doing our Christmas tributes. We're going to be doing those throughout the month. We'll be calling on you. If you would like to offer a Christmas tribute, please let us know. We would love to include you. I want to say thank you to our prayer chaplains, our board members, our guest services team, our compassionate care ministry. Please, God, don't let me forget anybody. Marketing. Oh my God, I cannot forget marketing. In fact, I need to just celebrate the team that was involved with making Worshiping in Color happen. I don't want to call everybody by name because I'm going to miss, but I can talk about groups. So I can talk about the office team with Aaron and Taylor, the marketing team with Deidre, Sherry, and Marjorie. Oh Lord, am I missing anybody else? Oh my goodness, I just need to acknowledge them. I'm sure there's probably a name I'm going to miss and I'm going to kick myself for forgetting that. Thank you to all of the ministers who were a part of the Worshiping in Color month. Oh goodness. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. The other thing I want to tell you is that right after today's service, we are having our first virtual baptism and you are invited. And I was supposed to say this at the top of my sermon and I forgot. I was listening to the music before the sermon started and my mind went somewhere else. You are invited. The information is below. And so I encourage you to come and be a part of this. We are growing here at Upchurch. We are not just located here in Inglewood. We are expanding around the globe. And we have men and women from all over the world who are joining our ministry. So come be a part of that. All right, let's take a moment to do our prayer of protection and we will close out. Would you read along with me? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And so it is. All right, family, have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful week. And I will see you either at the baptism in a few minutes or I'll see you next week. Take care.